Congratulations and thank you. First, celebrate. You've been recognized by your fellow peeps as a leader within our community who is championing our purpose to ensure no child's circumstance limits their potential. Given the size of our community and the expectations we have of all of our peeps, this is an accomplishment you should be proud of. Second, I really want to emphasize the thank you, not only for what you've done as an education champion, but for answering our call to step into a leadership role. Whether this was a natural step for you or not, being in a leadership position comes with additional responsibilities and pressure. It also means you're committing to a steep learning curve so you can become the best version of yourself for the education champions you're leading. In an effort to help you with your leap into leadership, alliteration intended, I wanted to share 10 tips for a successful transition. Number 1, cultivate your curiosity. Ask questions about anything and everything. When the answer is not readily available, seek it out by asking your supervisor, your fellow peeps, looking in books, and searching online. No question is a dumb question. And the greater your curiosity, the faster you'll learn. The curiosity shouldn't just be limited to becoming a better manager and leader. Apply it to learning more about the education champions you're responsible for working with, the programs that they're in, and the scholars they're supporting. The more time you spend knowing them and what they're working on, the more ways you'll find out how to be helpful. Which leads me to number 2, strive to be a servant leader. This might be the beginning, and hopefully will be the beginning, of a lifelong journey of leadership. And I'm sharing this tip with you fully aware that it's something that I'm not perfect at, but I'm constantly working on. When I walked the halls of the hotel school as a student at Cornell, E.M. Statler's words were etched on the walls of the second floor hallway. They read, "Life is service. The one who progresses is the one who gives his fellow men a little more, a little better service." A few years later, I went on an experiential trip to Israel where I learned about Moses and his role as a shepherd. For those of you who didn't grow up on a farm, the shepherd doesn't lead their herd from the front, but instead from behind. In movies and on social media, it can appear that the best leaders are actively and actually driving the change from the front. They're charging hard from the front. There are times when that is appropriate. As a general rule of thumb, that's when there is danger. For example, times of war, because you might die. Times when you need to be vulnerable, because people may use that to hurt you. And times when you need to sacrifice, making the first and taking the biggest sacrifice. These are all in service of the group. And you shouldn't have to encounter the first or the third in your role as an education champion supervisor. When possible, share the credit. Acknowledge your peeps and look for opportunities to support them by making them more successful in their roles. This will help them have a bigger impact on their scholars, which serves our purpose. So to summarize number 2, strive to serve and lead from behind. All right, number 3, aim for progress instead of perfection. You will make mistakes, some that will be bigger than others. At this point, I've been doing my job for over a decade and I still make mistakes. We are all human. As such, we were all designed to be imperfect. It's on us to continue to work on our imperfections, learn from our mistakes, and continue growing. Number 4, ask for help. Being in a leadership role is challenging. Leadership and management are not easy. The good news is that you don't have to experience it alone. You have an amazing community of peeps who are here to help you. We've also been doing this long enough to confidently say that almost nothing you're going to deal with or experience will be a surprise. So don't waste time stressing by yourself. Or worse, waste time trying to come up with a new solution that we may have already solved. Not only do we want to help you, we expect that you're going to ask for help. At practice, we see asking for help as a sign of strength, not weakness. It takes true leadership to understand when we're not the smartest person in the room or may not have the best answer. Lean on your peeps. Number 5, redo your education champion onboarding and all of the training for that matter. Understanding the onboarding and training will help you hold and maintain the expectations we set. Ideas may also surface on how you can support your education champions with challenges they might be facing in the classroom right now. Number 6, you can no longer complain about problems. Just kidding, but not really. That's because you're officially on the team that is part of the problem. All right, that's the bad news. The good news is that you're also on the team that can come up with the solution. If there is anything that you don't like or are frustrated by, suggest ways to make it better. Our team believes in continuous improvement, and we know we don't have all the answers. Be part of the solution. Number 7, not everyone works like you. This one was really difficult for me to accept. I had a particular way of doing things, and I thought everyone would be more successful if they just did it like me. But I was striving to be a servant leader. So I rarely corrected people, Instead, I was frustrated until I started to attract team members who had expectations that were equally as high as mine. Then they would proactively ask me for feedback. At first, I jumped at the opportunity to tell them exactly how to do it. In the process, I robbed them of their ownership and deprived practice of their brilliance. See, what I later learned is that my way is only one way, not the only way. And there are actually better ways of doing things than the way I did them. When my fellow peeps pleasantly surprised me, I realized that I was part of the problem. I also had team members whose expectations didn't match mine. When that was the case, I should have revisited the hiring process instead of tolerating anything less than excellence. After all, it had a direct impact on our scholars. I share all this to say the way you reported on your scholars, communicated with your education supervisor, or did other parts of your job were just one way, not the only way. So be open to your education champions being different than you were. But of course, be discerning. Re-reviewing, onboarding, and training will better prepare you to uphold the expectations set by our team. Number 8, be a culture carrier. You came to practice because you were looking for a part-time job with a purpose. You wanted to be part of something much bigger than yourself. Our purpose of working to create a world where no child's circumstance limits their potential inspired you. And our values of being a conscious capitalist, acting entrepreneurially, striving for excellence, and empowering revolutionary change spoke to you because it was how you were living your life and how you wanted to behave at work. Your fellow education champions want the same exact thing. They want to be around like-minded peers who care about the same things they care about. Use this as an opportunity to build relationships with them. Sign up for our internal team events and encourage them to join you so they have a familiar face. And recognize and appreciate them when they model and display behaviors that align with our values. You can be the difference between more of our education champions engaging more deeply with our organization to deliver more for our scholars, or just showing up to work as if it's another job. Choose to do the former. Number 9, lead by example. You're already doing a great job with that one, or our team wouldn't have shortlisted you to become an education champion supervisor. We know that scholars learn more from imitation than dictation. That means they learn more from watching what we do than doing what we say. Well, the same is true for adults. When we first get into management, we think everything will come so much easier. People will have to respect us because our title or because we're the boss. If you adopt that mindset, your stint as an education supervisor will be very short-lived. Respect is not something that everyone just gives. It's earned. And the way you earn it is by modeling what you want to see. If you want your education champions to go the extra mile, then you have to go the extra mile. If you want your education champions to care more about their job, then you have to find ways to show them that you care about them more than just their job. If you want your education champions to be on top of their communications and responsibilities, then you have to be on top of your communications and responsibilities. You get the point. While modeling is not a surefire way to get everything you want, it is the most effective. Number 10, remember the why. Management is not all puppies and rainbows. It's not unnatural to have moments when you question whether or not you made the right decision or if the extra money is even worth the headache. I've been in my seat for a long time and I've had those questions and still have those questions. They're completely normal. And it's okay to sulk for a little bit. Then you need to snap out of it. This isn't about me and it isn't about you. We are here because we believe no child's circumstance should limit their potential. Every kid, regardless of where they are born or who they are born to, deserves a fair shake at life. We didn't sign up to do this work because we thought it would be easy or make everyone happy. We signed up to do it because it mattered. Some days we'll feel really good and other days we won't. That's okay. It doesn't change the significance and the urgency of the work that we're doing. So when you have a difficult conversation that you don't want to, you have to remember the why. When you're contemplating whether you have the energy to brainstorm a better approach to a recurring problem, you have to remember the why. That why is our purpose, which is to ensure no child's circumstance limits their potential. Thank you again for stepping up and accepting the challenge. I'm rooting for you. We're all rooting for you. Get after it.